Let me quickly talk to you about the top 5 EIN only startup business loans. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about the top 5 EIN only startup business loans. And here, those are loans that allow you, that will approve you, even if you have no sales, even if you are a brand new business. In other words, you have been in existence for less than 6 months, they will still approve you. It's very important to understand that when we speak about startup in this show, we talk about a business a legit business, okay? We're not speaking about a sole proprietorship. You got to be a legit business. You got to be incorporated. You got to have your EIN, right? Your employer identification number. You can be a single member LLC. You can be a one person business, but you have to be a business. And when it comes to funding for a startup business, there are several ways. You can get money from friends and family. You can get personal loans and lines of credit. You can get business loans and lines of credit. You can actually try crowdfunding. You can even think about cash flow financing. What I'm trying to tell you here is that the EIN only startup business loans that I'll be speaking to you in today's conversation, when you apply for a loan, a business loan at any of those lenders, make sure that you are open-minded. Make sure that you are exploring the whole variety of loan options they have for you, for your business. Let me give you an example. I spoke earlier about cash flow financing. Now, many business lenders for startups, they're primarily concerned with the company's overall profitability, especially if this is a new business. They're kind of concerned, right? They want to cover their butts, which makes sense. And what they do is that they will actually tie the lending to an asset. In other words, you have a collateralized loan. So you can have a short-term loan in terms of cash flow financing. And as the name might suggest, this is a loan with short borrowing term lengths. Generally, instead of interest, this kind of loans will carry a fee that is between 10% and 60% of the borrowing amount, and it must be repaid on a daily or weekly basis. And then you have MCA, merchant cash advances. And much like short-term loans, MCAs charge a fee of 10 to 60% of the borrowing amount instead of interest. However, your advance will be repaid by collecting a percentage of your daily sales. And I also want to talk about invoice financing. So, folks, before I get into the actual ranking, I want to explain to you, I want to lay out the foundation, the analytical foundation you need to understand before going into the ranking, before applying for a startup business loan. So, besides cash flow financing, crowdfunding, as a startup business owner, you can also raise money through invoice factoring. You can try grants. You can try credit cards, right? There are business credit cards for a startup, and those credit cards sometimes can give you a high limit. And we just finished a show about business credit cards issued by credit unions, and those EIN only business credit cards are very generous in terms of the kind of limits they offer. And you may also try SBA loans and microloans from nonprofits. And when we speak about microloans, we're speaking about loans that are capped at $50,000. The amounts are capped at $50,000. And I want to quickly come back to invoice factoring. So B2B businesses have sometimes unique cash flow problems caused by slow paying customers. So if you run such a business, if your startup is actually serving business customers, invoice factoring may be the solution, because invoice factoring is contingent on your customers paying. So even startups and young businesses are eligible for financing, especially if you have a large client, let's say a Facebook of the world. the Facebook of the world, you have the Amazons of the world, you have the IBMs of the world. You are going to get invoice factoring because the factor knows that you will get paid anyway. All right. And you might also think about grants. So small business grants from private foundations are also pretty cool. So before you resort to loans, please explore all those options. And I also want you to check this short evaluation video that tells you about our approach when it comes to reviewing, categorizing, and listing business loans on this show. Check this out. All right, folks. Number 5, we have Seek Business Capital. Our score, 8/10. When it comes to an EIN only startup business loans, this is a great company. What are the pros and cons here? Pros, you have excellent customer support. This is suited for startups. This is suited for small businesses also, and you have an easy application process. What about the cons? You have high origination fees, some additional fees, and you have opaque terms and fees in terms of, so what we mean by that is if you go to the website if you go to Seek Business Capital's website, they're not transparent when it comes to their fees. Okay, but the cool thing here is that Seek Business Capital specializes in funding procurement from third-party lenders, and this is a company that does the hard work for you when it comes to acquiring funding for your business. And while there are high fees associated with the service, the convenience may outweigh the expense for many business owners. And when we talk about funding, we are referring to things like term loans, business lines of credit, startup loans, invoice factoring, equipment financing, short-term loans, merchant cash advances, SBA loans, and personal loans for a business. And what are we looking at in terms of amounts here? The amounts will usually oscillate between $10,000 all the way to $1 million. Okay, and business revenue, they want you to have a minimum of $120,000. And for different loans, they have different extra requirements. For example, if you're looking for equipment financing, they want you to have 2 years. So they want the equipment to have a useful life, a minimum useful life of 2 years. Okay, if you're looking at invoice factoring, they want you to be a B2B organization, a B2B company, and they want you to have a top clients. And one thing I also want to mention when it comes to Seek Business Capital is that they've been around for a while now, and in terms of the documentation they want before processing your loan application, they want to have proof of identity, proof of residence, business and personal bank statements, business and personal tax returns, business and personal credit reports and scores, profit and loss statements, business debt schedule, balance sheet, articles of incorporation or organization, an assigned personal guarantee in some cases, but we have seen that they most of the time they actually will waive that if you have the right application. Number 4, folks, we have Fora Financial. Our score, 8.5/10. So Fora Financial is an alternative small business lender that offers merchant cash advances and short-term loans. So despite the potentially high origination fee, Fora Financial's offerings are competitive with other funders that we have reviewed, and we believe that this is a great lender to consider. What are the pros and cons here? In terms of pros, there are no credit score requirements. Again, this is an EIN only, right? So we're looking at the business's credit as opposed to personal credit. So there is no credit score requirements. Discounts for repaying early. This is suited for quick business financing, emergency business financing. The application process is fast and easy, and customer service is extremely helpful. What about the cons? Rates can be expensive. Some additional fees are charged, and repayments are required frequently. And what are we looking at in terms of requirements here? So they want you to minimum time in business 6 months, business revenue at least $5,000 in monthly credit card sales, and a credit score minimum of $500. $500. 500. So they want you to have a FICO of 500. And these are the requirements for a merchant cash advance. Now, if you want to get a short-term loan, the minimum requirements: time in business 6 months, business revenue 12,000 in monthly gross sales, monthly average bank account balance over $1,000, and credit score 500. And one thing you need to understand also is that Florida Financial does not, and I repeat, Florida Financial does not lend to businesses in the following industries: accounting, adult entertainment, auto sales, financial institutions, gambling, lawyers, nonprofits, and real estate sales. Okay, this is just something you need to be aware of. And one thing I also want to mention quickly here is that the borrowing amounts ranges from 500 to a million, sometimes 10,000 to 500,000. It really depends. Term length, you're looking at 4 to 16 to 20 months. Okay, the origination fee 1 to 4% of the borrowed amount, and the borrowing fee 10 to 30% of the borrowing amount. So you really have to think about the cost here. Number 3, folks, we have the National Business Capital. Our score 9/10. And when you think about National Business Capital, I want you to think about a lending advisory service that connects small business applicants to one of their 75 lending affiliates. So this is not a direct lender. They are a loan matchmaking service, if you will. And this is a platform that is great for startups, new and mature but credit challenged businesses. One thing I want you to be cautious about is that you are not likely to get the absolute best rates. No, I mean, it comes with the territory, right? I mean, if you have bad credit, you can't expect to have a 2% or 3% on a business loan. So what about the pros and cons here? Pros: borrower qualifications are lower than with banks. Financing is available to qualified startups, and you have access to high borrowing amounts. It's pretty cool. Long-term financing options are available. The application process is fast and easy, and customers have an assigned account manager. And we have found in our experience that having an assigned account manager is a pretty cool, experience in terms of the interaction that the borrower has with the lender. What about the cons here? Rates can be expensive. I've already said that, and collateral blanket lien the lien may be required in some cases and in some areas of the country. All right. And in terms of the loans, the funding options that you have with National Business Capital, you have business term loans for startups, business lines of credit for startups, equipment financing, SBA loans, and specific startup business funding. All right. And this is something you need to think about. And for startup business funding, the borrowing amount ranges from $5,000 to $150,000. The term length is flexible. There's no collateral required. There's no origination fee in most cases, and there's the factor rate and interest rate have not been communicated to us when we reached out to National Business Capital, so we don't know. You just have to contact them for that. And this is a lender that disburses funds pretty fast, and they have excellent customer service. Number 2, folks, we have Everest Business Funding. Our score 9.5/10. Here is a lender that basically has a mountain of positive accolades on the internet. And we love the fact that the pros, they have relaxed credit score requirements and 2 to 7 days time to funding. This is pretty good for a startup business lender. The cons: high factor rate and some additional fees may apply. And Everest Business Funding serves the following industries. So if you are in healthcare, restaurants, service, trade, seasonal businesses, in other words, accounting, bridal, moving, or you are in retail, you might actually find your luck with Everest Business Funding. And we also love the fact that their borrower qualifications are pretty flexible. So credit score 500. Revenue $4,000 per month. So that's about 50. That's $48,000 a year. About 50,000 a year. Okay, so that's something you need to think about. Now the borrowing amount oscillates between $5,000 and $1 million. The term length 2 to 12 months. There is a flat fee of X 1.2 or X 1.5, an origination fee of that actually fluctuates between $200 and $3,000, and there is no collateral required. This is something we really love here. And in terms of customer service, it's fantastic. We love the fact that they are there for you. They will support you, and the application process is very easy, very fast. You can get the process started by filling out a small web form. If it all goes well, the process will be complete within a week. And we love the fact that the credit requirements for MCAs are low, which makes it very easy to qualify if you run a profitable business. And no matter your personal credit score, right? Because at the end of the day, if you go to Everest Business Funding, the loan application is strictly for an EIN only, start a business loan. Number one, folks, when it comes to the top 5 EIN only start a business loans, we have here forward financing. Our score 10 over 10. And we love the fact that forward financing has actually improved its operations a lot in the last few years. And here is an online lender that specializes in providing small businesses with capital on short notice, emphasizing technology, transparency, integrity, and speed. And forward financing's rate fall on the higher side. However, if your credit rating is limiting you to higher rate funders and you absolutely need funding, forward financing may be worth considering. What about the pros and cons here? The pros, you have an excellent public reputation, pretty good, relaxed credit score requirements, transparent terms and fees, fast time to funding. What about the cons here? High factor rates, expensive terms and fees. And we love the fact that forward financing has been doing this for many, many years, and they have accumulated great reviews in the meantime. I mean, they specialize in providing small businesses and startups with capital on short notice, emphasizing technology, transparency, integrity, and speed. That's what they stand for. For them, it's very important. Okay, and time in business in terms of, let me just walk you through the borrower qualifications. The time in business, 3 months minimum. Credit score, 500. Revenue at least $5,000 per month in sales. Okay, so this is something you have to think about. And you also have to think about the fact that you need to think about the term length. So you have 4 to 12 months. The fixed fee, X 1.3 to X 1.5. There is an origination fee. There's something we really don't like, but it's what it is, right? And that origination fee fluctuates between $300 to $3,000 in terms of processing, and they don't require collateral. If you have a strong application, they will not ask for a collateral. Okay, something to keep in mind. All right, folks, I want to give you a bonus here. We have actually, in the course of our research, we have found another great gem when it comes to EIN only startup business funding, and that is Fundwise Capital. Our score 7.5 over 10. So Fundwise Capital is a financial service company that specializes in connecting qualified customers with third-party funders. So again, here we have a middleman sort of a business model, right? They're not a direct lender. They are a loan matching service. And for new entrepreneurs with bad, fair, or good credit, Fundwise can make a significant impact, especially if you qualify for zero interest during your first year. And just beware though of being upsold on credit counseling, because they do other stuff too on the side. So what about what are the pros and cons here? Pros: financing is available to qualified startups. Multiple types of financing available. Long-term financing options available. No collateral required. So this is pretty good. For us, this was very important. What about the cons? High credit score requirements. Rates can be expensive depending on the lender. Funds can take a while to disperse, and the website advertising is not informative nor transparent, really. And it's something that FundWise Capital's team needs to work on. And so FundWise offers the following types of business funding through its partners: business credit cards, installment loans, lines of credit, business and personal. So in addition to installment loans for startups, you can also get business credit cards, EIN only business credit cards from FundWise, or business lines of credit or personal lines of credit. It really depends on you. Okay, and the terms here for for the line of credit, the limit is a 25 grand to 300,000. Term length 6 to 18 months. The interest rate 0% for 9 to 15 months, and after that it's 1% to 2% per month after. And other fees $500 plus 9% approval fee, and the APR is 0% for 12 months. No collateral. For the installment loan, the borrowing amount is 25,000 to 300,000. The term length 3 to 7 years. The interest rate 0 to 15% on the first 9 to 15 months. The other fees $500 plus 9% approval fee, and the APR ranges from 6% to 23%. No collateral. What about business credit card? Just in case you are interested. For business credit cards, it depends upon your application and what kind of business credit cards you're looking for in the first place as a startup. We have already actually covered this topic on other shows. Please just go into our catalog of videos and learn about the EIN only business credit cards for startups. Thank you so much, folks, for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will be speaking to you another time, but before I do so, let me just quickly recap here. So I was talking to you about the top 5 EIN only startup business credit cards, business credit cards, not business loans, business credit cards. And no, those are business loans. Sorry about that. The top 5 EIN only startup business loans. And number 1, we have a forward financing, 10/10. Number 2, we have Everest business funding, 9.5/10. Number 3, we have National Business Capital, 9/10. Number 4, we have Fora Financial, 8.5/10. Number 5, we have SIC Business Capital, 8/10. And the bonus here is FundWise Capital, 7.5/10. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.